I woke up this morning and you ever wake up after day quarantine of 20? I don't know if you've done this recently, but you look in the mirror and you're like, man, I got to shave.
That's every day, buddy.
Every day. I haven't done that for a while. I don't know if you've seen
this face. This is an actual shave. I cut off a lot from the old beard.
Man. Did you?
There's a fine line of trying to look cool, what I think looks cool, and just looking homeless. So
that's how I was looking today. I looked homeless, and I'm just like, man, I got to shave.
I got up to go to the bathroom and caught myself in the mirror, and pretty sure I've seen Sasquatch at first. Time for a change, buddy.
Looking dapper, sir.
Sasquatch never looks so good.
That's right. That is right.
That's right.
Very true.
That's right.
Guys, I'm super excited today because we have one of my dear friends and also a person just like tons of history with this handsome man named Dave Schrader. And he's just an incredible person. I really love the guy, and he's just been doing such great work in the paranormal field, research. You know, he's hosted his own show. I mean, I just love the dude to death. He's such a cool guy, and we have like some funny stories to talk about and stuff. So, what's up, Dave? How you doing, man? How's everything?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks a lot for having me. Can you guys hear me? Okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Hey, you sound good.
All right, good. Because I've got my standby headphone nerd headphone, and I thought, no, that wouldn't look cool. And then I see all of you, and I realize I still would have been the coolest kid in school.
We're always trying to bring it back to the 80s. So yeah, you could have rocked those headphones. What are those? Gold or silver? What was that? It's like shiny.
They're silver, baby.
Oh yeah,
my pals.
That's nice. You playing any games with those?
Like a kid, Mapow. No, it's just what I listen to, and I'm like on airlines and stuff. I put those on. I figure the bigger and more obnoxious the headphone, the less the chances somebody next to me is going to want to engage.
Yeah. It would have been amazing just to like sit a couple seats over from you and just watch you put those on because it has the microphone. You'd be like, yeah, red rover up top in the pilot seat. You know, they're looking good on this side. Just talk to the pilots that way. Dude, so how is the family? How's everybody? Everybody healthy? Good? How you doing?
Everybody's doing good right now. I mean, we're all keeping our fingers crossed that everybody comes through this okay. It's a weird time, man.
Yeah, it is. I know. You haven't gone insane yet with the kids running around everywhere? I know where my little girls are running around. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like you just want to put them outside for a bit.
My kids walk in and I'm hammering away at my keyboard and they go, "What are you doing, Dad?" I said, I'm working. And on the screen it just says, "All work and no play makes Dave a dull boy."
Oh, I love it. Speaking of like Stanley Hotel, when was the last time you've been back to the Stanley? It's a cool
Believe
location.
it or not, it was December 2012 was my final event at the Stanley Hotel.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a long time ago, man. Time's flying.
Yeah, I know. Who'd have thought? You know, I mean, we started doing our events in 2006. We ended with our end of days event because the Mayans obviously lied to us. We did our end of days event, which was December of 2012. I wanted to get home and go out in a flaming ball of fury like the Mayans had promised.
Yeah.
And all that happened was they destroyed Twinkies. We lost Twinkies. That's what happened that year.
Sons of bitches.
I forgot all about that whole thing.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember the Twinkies.
Yeah.
I probably was the only one.
Twinkies are going to outlive us all, I think.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They do in Zombieland, right?
Yeah.
When he goes looking for him and he finds the whole truck of Twinkies.
Yeah, it's the truck.
Oh, man. That was a good film. Yeah, Dave, going back to Virginia City, you know, like the first time we chilled, hung out, I'll never forget. I never laughed so hard. I got to tell this story because it's so classic. Is we were drinking martinis after the event, right? Just hanging out in, where was it? Tonopah? Was that where we were?
Yes. Yeah.
Where the Mizpah Hotel was in town and stuff. So Tonopah, Nevada, and we're all hanging out. It was a great event, and we're just chilling. And this is like the first time we kind of get to just mingle and laugh and have fun, you know? And we're drinking martinis, and we're having fun. And I think
wait. First of all, stop butching it up. We were drinking apple teenies.
Oh,
let's be honest here.
There it
apple
is.
Amazing.
Don't butcher.
Yeah, I think you and Tim, like, you guys were drinking the apple Appletini's, and that's why I learned it was like your go-to drinks at the time. And I don't know what I was drinking, but I come walking in, I found this T-shirt, right? It was funny as heck, dude. I like it looked just like Aaron Goodwin on it, his face, and I had a popsicle stick. Like his head was on a popsicle stick. So it was like we were laughing so hard. I come walking in with that shirt and we're just like drinking, having fun, but I never laughed that hard, man.
Do you remember they served Tim, my co-host, they served him his Appletinis in a pitcher. Yeah. And he pushed the glass away, and he's drinking straight from the pitcher. Because it just tastes like liquid Jolly Rancher, but it destroys you quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tim and I became good friends that moment. And I think he was wearing like a Tupac shirt or something like that. I'm like, we're straight up gangster right now. Just drinking
Tupac and Appletinis.
Yeah, right. West Coast, killing it. Oh, man. It was such a funny time. And then I don't know what the heck we were talking about, but it was just like, you're just chilling with good people and you just connect. And it's just like a really fun conversation. Like, I'll never forget that. That was a great memory. And I think we're talking about we're talking about G, and I think G was coming up or something. How did that whole thing come up? We were talking G and then like G balls or something like that. It was so freaking funny. I lost my shit. I was like, G balls.
Yeah. Everybody had their little nicknames. We had Tiny Puff and you had Tara that you were calling Little G, and then and somebody had popped up something about you, and I'm like, that guy's got balls, and I think you went, yeah, yo, G balls, and that was it. We became G balls from that point forward.
You tell it so much better. That's totally, I think, what happened.
And here we are, still in my cell phone. 12 years later, whenever I get a call, it says G balls, G-BALLZ, which is better than poor Aaron Sager's nickname.
Oh,
because when we did one of our final Stanley events, they the Stanley was really on it, and they brought us in for the first day, and they wanted to go over the itinerary, and they had accidentally typed his name Asron. Asron Sagers. So now in my phone it rings up as Asron. So once in a while I'll get a conference call between Asron and G-Balls, and my kids think I'm trying to formulate some kind of porn channel.
It's amazing.
Oh, and here we are a decade later on the GCrew. Interesting. Interesting how the world spins. No, man.
That's right.
You've had like an incredible journey, Like, what was the first experience that kind of got you into the paranormal? Can you remember or talk about like maybe like a story that was really compelling to you?
Well, I grew up with it all around me. I had my grandmother came to visit me after she died when I was like 2-3 years old. So I've kind of spun those stories quite often. But I think one of the creepiest that stood out to me was when I was, probably about 13, 14. I lived in like white bread suburbia, Illinois, right? 22 miles west of Chicago in a little unincorporated town called Medina. And I go walk into my friend Phil Spazzeri's house. And as I'm walking, I pass this kind of ranch house. And I look over, and there's just this man standing in the window staring out at me, which is not a big deal. This was, the 70s, early 80s, before 900 cable channels. You had 5 TV channels, and you looked out your windows, and you communicated with people, and you weren't on your cell phones all the time. So he was just looking out the window, and as I'm walking, I just get this kind of chill, and I turn around. Now he's not inside behind the window. Somehow he has gone from inside his house window looking out to outside past the sidewalk and the row of hedges that are in front of his sidewalk and window.
Wow.
And I look back and I'm like, what just happened? I take a few more steps and I turn around. Now the guy's halfway in his yard.
Whoa.
And I start to shuffle a little quicker, and I turn back the last time, and he's like 4 feet away from me standing at the corner of his yard. Now, I never saw him run. He never made a sound, and he was always just standing there, and he had his arms kind of tucked behind him, just like we used to. As you'd look out the window, you just stand there kind of with your arms back, and that's all this guy did. But it was so janky, the movement, and how he was here, and then all of a sudden he's standing on the corner watching me. I ran like a bat out of hell.
Yeah.
And I would take the longest route to get home. And even in my adulthood, my dad gets a kick out of driving me slowly past that house. But here's the rub. He goes, they're working on your house. I'm like, what do you mean? And he drives me past it, and they're pulling the house apart. And on the front of the house, as we're watching, they're pulling the old facade off the front of the house. And when they pull it down, there is this large stone creature-y gargoyle thing attached to the side of the house. They pull down this front, and there's this creepy-ass gargoyle, like, attached to the wall. My dad goes, well, that was unexpected. And we drove by, and I haven't gone past that house since. Here I am as an adult, 52 years old now, Darkness Dave, been on TV, been on radio, been on Ghost Adventures, been on everything, and I still don't want to go past this house because this creepy, janky son of a gun coming out of his window at me.
And he was making eye contact with you. Like,
I know.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it takes that experience, though. Like, you just don't expect it, and it takes somebody off guard. Until you have an experience like that, you really don't know how you're going to react or how it's going to affect your life or whatever is surrounding you. I mean, it's really fascinating to me, talking to different people with different perspectives. What do you think it was? Do you think that was an individual that was a ghost? Do you think it was somebody from, I don't know, a time slip coming through? Like, what do you think it was a decade later?
Many decades later. I was almost 36 years ago or so. I don't know. I'm going to guess probably the ghost of a guy that used to live in the house. That would be, that would make the most sense to me.
Yeah.
But I would say one of the more unnerving moments I ever had was with you.
Oh,
when we were at Bobby Mackey's. Mm-hmm. And you guys were running an event there, and we had Mark and Debbie Constantino were there, and we were doing EVP by the hellhole, right? And this is my first time there, and I got to be a little honest. Everybody played up how terrifying this hellhole is, and it's like a sump pump hole over a railing. So being a dick, I'm like, I'm going in, and I climb over, and I'm standing, and Debbie Constantino goes, well, I want to come in there too. So she comes in and stands next to me, and Mark is standing up behind us, and Nick, you were standing and kneeled down by us, and we were doing a shack hack session, a spirit box. And earlier that day, you had a priest that was with you guys. I'll leave it to you if you ever mention the name. I don't, but he had been in there, and at one point started flinging holy water and tore off his collar, and he's cursing out the spirits and sending them to hell or home or wherever. And I remember it was so weird and surreal because people's equipment throughout the night would keep saying things like priest, fake, fraud, liar. Priest, fake, fraud, liar. And I'm like, that's really bizarre that it's tying all these words together on many different pieces of equipment throughout the building. So as we're doing this shack hack session and we're not getting any responses, I go, what did you think of the priest that was down here earlier? And do you remember the response we got?
Yeah. It was pretty vulgar.
Yeah, this grumbly voice comes out of the radio and says the F word and then an F word slang for homosexuals.
Yeah.
And it goes effing F, and we all just kind of stopped, and you go, whoa, did you just hear that? And Debbie repeated it.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was no denying what came through this speaker, and it got really freaky down there in the basement. So that was one of the more chilling moments. And then when we were up doing the shack hack session and we had Bobby Mackey sitting there, as we're talking and the radio's going on, all of a sudden we hear Zach's voice come through the radio. And he's like, guys, get up here, help us. And we thought that was weird because we were upstairs, he was downstairs, and we're asking, why is he yelling for us to get up here?
Wow.
And we went downstairs and approached him, and he was getting Nick's voice in the basement coming through the radio.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it wasn't even what I was saying being picked up on the radio down there. It was like two ultra realities occurring, but our voice is coming through on opposite devices. And it was super creepy because I know that was the first time that I experienced Dave actually brought in that piece of equipment. That was the first time I was actually using it. Dave was really excited. He's like, I got to show you this, Nick. And we were letting it run. It was absolutely incredible because we had a little group surrounding us. Bobby Mackey was there. Dave and I were doing our thing. And then I'm not even joking you, like, Zach's voice, clear as day, just came through the device. You heard him, guys, get down here. Like, it was creepy.
Wow.
So David and I were like, go, go, go. We rushed downstairs. I like rush into the room. They were all crowded in the room of faces in the back. And we rush in there and I'm just like, we just heard your voice come through. What is matter? There's something going down. It was just like one of those intense moments. But the weird thing about that time is you could feel the energy. It intensified. You know, it was different there.
What do you think that is? I mean, you guys have been in what is it? What do you think that is? What's going on there?
I mean, I have a different perspective on it now after going there over a decade of investigating it. Dave, what do you think?
Well, I had to laugh because we went there and it was frigid. Remember how cold it was?
Yeah, it was freezing.
And everybody starts complaining. They're like, my God, it's never been this cold. And I said, well, it's my fault. And they're like, what do you mean it's your fault? And I said, well, I've always said it'll be a cold day in hell before you find me in a country bar. And it was so flipping cold. I don't know. I don't know what – I remember walking in and being underwhelmed. I thought I was going to feel this like Amityville presence, and I felt nothing. And then I went in the bathroom, and the lights were out, and – you guys are like, oh, do you want me to come in there? And I thought you guys were joking around. And I'm like, no, Nick, I think I got this. I've been doing this for quite a while all by myself. And I go in, and there's like, when you go in, there's troughs, right? Yeah. Not urinals. It's like a trough. Yeah. And then there's door stalls behind you. And as I'm peeing, all of a sudden the door stall starts opening and shutting and slamming.
Yeah.
And I turn around and I'm like, what the hell? And I will admit, I got out of that bathroom and I don't recall washing my hands at this point.
Yeah, so. And I think I set it up too. I'm like, Dave, I'm telling you, that's a haunted bathroom. Remember? Because the first time I went there, the whole entire bathroom was shaking. And I jumped out of there like no tomorrow. You know, like the first time I went into that bathroom, nobody, like Zach and Aaron, they were way off in the darkness and we were the only ones in there when we were investigating, and I went in there to pee, and the whole entire bathroom shakes. I booked it out of there. I'm screaming, and you see it in the episode of Ghost Adventures, and I'm trying to zip my fly up as I'm telling them. Jesus. And then we go back in, and I'm not joking. Everyone's like, dude, don't run. And he's yelling, don't run. The thing was, the whole entire freaking bathroom was shaking. I thought the building was going to collapse. Obviously, I'm trying to jump out of the bathroom so it doesn't collapse. It was intense.
Because that's not the hero's death any of us want.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Where did he go? What happened to him? He was peeing and the building fell down around him. That's kind of a horrible way to go.
Yeah, I know. Fall into the urinal there.
Oh,
it was creepy. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird location. I mean, my perspective is it's a mirror image of kind of the intent of energy you put out in there now, you know? So if like you go in there and you're negative and you're asking for all this and you're just acting wild and off the hook, you're going to get that. You're going to get that back. If you go in there, you know, kind of more logical, in a positive sense and just, you know, asking questions or just doing your thing, I mean, you'll probably get that back too. It's just it's a weird location, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so many great memories investigating with you. Even at Rolling Hills. Remember Rolling Hills?
Yeah.
That was interesting. That was really interesting.
Yeah, you know, thinking about it, those I think some of the freakiest moments I've ever had have been with you specifically.
Yeah,
in the locations, because we had the Bobby Mackey's thing. Mm-hmm. Then when we did Rolling Hills, that was the first episode you guys asked me to be a part of because we had become friends, and you're like, hey, you keep telling us about Rolling Hills. Do you want to be a special guest investigator during the episode? I'm like, yeah, hell yeah. And so for anybody out there, when you're wondering about this lockdown and how do they really get locked in, like production's there. They set up all their equipment for them, give them their water, some snacks, set up a porta potty, whatever. Lights out. When they lock that door, everybody leaves. They're gone. But they leave me in this little black van outside by myself, right? And there's nothing anywhere near this building, right? You're just all alone in the dark. And I'm watching from inside the car, and I don't even have internet signal on my phone to message out. And I'm just watching like flashlights bouncing around in the building. And it's very Scooby-Doo looking. And I'm like, okay. And about 2 hours in, I get the walkie in there. I hear, Dave, we're bringing you in. Come meet us at the door. So I go to the door, and we unlock the door. I go in, and they were so excited to have me come in. And they're like, and I'd been there before. So I had had weird experiences, but not to the level that they were so excited. And I got to be honest with you. They're all, oh my God, and this, and that, and then, and I'm totally thinking, oh no, please don't let them be faking things. Please don't let this be just a joke. You know, I don't want to know this about these guys. I want this to be pure. And they're telling me what's going on, and my brain is still working around what they're telling me. We get up to the top floor, and as we're standing there, I've got Nick standing off to my left behind me. I've got Aaron in front of me, and Zach in a very tight T-shirt is standing over in front of me on this side. And we're just kind of discussing what's been going on when suddenly you hear thump, 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 thump. Footsteps come running over the top of us. And I go, who's on the next floor? And Zach looks at me and he goes, we are the next floor. This is the top floor. That's the roof.
Dude.
And I'm like, who's up on the roof? He goes, nobody. We're in this thing alone. And as he says that, we hear this wailing sound that turns into a woman's scream from the end of the hall. And my eyes get big. And as I turn around, Nick is standing behind me, and he's got his camera up on his shoulder. And when I turn around, there's this white face behind his other shoulder. And it looks like Pazuzu from The Exorcist. I kid you not.
Wow.
And I go, what the? And as Nick starts to turn, this head folds back like it's on a hinge. So you just you see the head here, and all of a sudden it just kind of it's there and then folds back. And Nick pivots. Aaron's got his camera up, and I'm like, Aaron, tell me you caught that. And he goes, no, gee, your big head was in the way. So he's standing there filming my head blocking Nick. And
oh man,
we go turn around, and that night it was so unbelievable. And then we started doing the shack hack again. Yep. And we caught it taunting Zach. Remember? So you and I went down to warn him. So we had that happen then at the Palmer House in Minnesota. Yeah. We got they had kind of broken off, and they went to do their thing, and I think Zach was going to dig underneath the stairs. And I was just supposed to be a talking head for that episode. I wasn't supposed to investigate. And Nick goes, come on, let's go upstairs. Bring your shack hack. Let's see what we get. If we get nothing, no problem. If we get something, maybe you'll get on the episode. I'm like, all right. So we go up. We start recording, and I go, we're in Lucy's room, and I'm asking all these questions, and nothing's happening. And then I go, is there anybody here who's in danger tonight? And loudly, we just hear the word Zach. And Nick and I are like, did that just say Zach? And I'm like, no, we're expecting to hear one of these names. We rewind it back, and you play it, and you hear the voice go, Zach Baggins. We're like, what? And I'm like, what? And Nick, of course, he's like, dude, we got to go show this to Zach. So we go downstairs, and Zach's got his breathing apparatus and hazmat suit, and it's like something from Breaking Bad down there, right? And he comes around the corner, you know, like Bane from Batman, and he's like, what's going on, guys? Nick goes, you got to hear this. And he plays the audio, and then you hear the Zach Baggins, and then Aaron goes, whoa, what is that? And I'm like, what? I didn't hear it. And he had yelled over part of it, and we play it back, and you hear me say, is there anybody here in danger tonight? And you hear Zach Baggins.
Jeez.
And we all jumped out of our skin. Zach looks at Nick, and then he looks at me, and he goes, I don't want you coming to any more investigations. Every time you come with that stupid device, it calls out my name. And he's laughing, of course, but he could tell he was like irritated by it. But those are some some really creepy, offsetting moments that we've had together.
Yeah, I love investigating with you. I mean, that's the thing is there was always like a cool connection, like friendship, but other than that, it's like, we were always getting some cool evidence. Anytime we would roll into the darkness in these weird locations, we would get some off the wall, like audio or visual or something creepy. And you and I would just be running around like, we got to solve this mystery. You know what I mean?
Like, come on, Scoop, we're going to find the ghost.
We get to Zach, we just pull his mask off. We gotcha. Totally, man. I know. Chad, you should have been there, Shaggy, definitely.
I know.
Oh,
I know.
Next.
Good times, man. Oh, the stories. So here we are, years later in Holzer Files, man. So cool. So cool. Congrats on all the success of that. Tell me about it. Tell me about Holzer Files, how it kind of came about, and, what you're doing now.
Well, our radio show was the last radio show to do an interview with Hans Holzer before he passed away.
Yeah.
And I'd become friends with Alexandra Holzer, and actually I think it was the first one to ever hire her to a live event. Mm-hmm. And we had her out at Eastern State Penitentiary, and we just remained friends. And then a few years ago, they reached out to me, and they're like, listen, we're putting together this paranormal show. We want you to be the lead investigator. I'm like, what are you going to bring that's any different than Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, Paranormal Lockdown? What new version can we look at? And to their credit, they said, well, you have to sign the disclosure, then we'll explain it. And I signed it. And they started playing me audio clips. We have original audio and video from Hans Holzer. Yeah. We get to re-examine these cases. And I thought, this is great because he's taken a lot of flack over the years for being wrong in some situations. And I knew that there was more to the story, and I'm so thankful I took this, because you read through his files and he wasn't wrong. He was misdirected. People would, believe it or not, people will tell you incorrect stories in order to get you to say certain things. So they would tell him what they wanted him to know, and he would believe them because they were historians, and they had these incredible stories plus the paranormal to back up the stories. And he would go in with his medium, and the medium would try to connect, and she would come up with these stories, and he's like, but it's not matching up exactly. Something's just a step off. And we get to go back in and re-examine these cases, see these stories with, 21st century technology and ability to Google at the drop of a hat and find history that's been lost. So not only was this a great opportunity to follow in his footsteps, but to also kind of, in a way, even though he is a very well-respected and beloved paranormal investigator and author, he took a lot of flack for stuff that was not his fault. And I love that we're able to set that right for him. I love that we can go back in and re-examine, find these stories, prove that what he saw was there, or that he was on the right path at that time. And this guy devoted 60 years of his life to helping people.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just about going in and, dude, run. You went in, he found out, and no matter, the audio is great, no matter how creepy shit gets, this guy stays the course. And he's just like, you'll hear the ghost channeling, and they're like, you must get out! And just these terrifying voices. And Hans Holzer's like, no, we're not going to leave. You need to leave. Right. This is no longer your realm. You should go on now. And he's so peaceful and calm that I feel almost embarrassed at times when something creepy happens and I jump out of my skin in the episode. But it was a great opportunity, and I thought, why not? This is where I'd like to be. So we did it. We filmed season 1. We did 10 episodes. It went really well. They gave us 13 episodes for season 2, and then the coronavirus said, screw you and your plans, Schrader. You get 5 episodes and everybody goes into lockdown. So now we all get paranormal lockdown. Totally. So now we just wait. We filmed 5 episodes. They have got tweaks to put on them and things. I am hoping we get to finish up the next 8 sometime later on this year and see where it goes. But it's been a hell of a ride and a great journey. And, I honestly say that it had not been for the kindness of my friends through Ghost Adventures giving me a shot to go on the air and be a part of the investigation and bring what I do, I don't think I'd have gotten a lot of the opportunities I've gotten. So I've always been indebted to you and Zach and Aaron for opening up the doors to me and allowing me into your playground. And I've had such a great time. And, people are always like, are the guys just like, they appear on TV, and I'm like, yeah, they're like the three little dopey brothers you never knew you wanted, but you got them anyway. And I always had such a great time working with you guys and doing live events and just being out there and being a part of this. So Holzer Files is kind of the culmination of all of this. Plus, now when I go to locations like Scarefest, and people actually want to meet and talk, I got to my favorite Johnny Hauser story. Here I am at Scarefest, and this is my first meeting with Josh Gates. And there's two of us standing there, and we're drinking and just kind of being men, and we're drinking. And all of a sudden, this woman walks up, and she starts trembling. And she goes, oh, my God. And I'm looking at Gates, and I'm like, boy, women really react strongly to this cat, right? And we turn and look, and I go, what's up? And she goes, 2 of the 3 people I wanted to meet most in the world are here right now. Oh, my God, can I get a picture? And we're like, sure, but who's the third? And we're expecting Grant Wilson, or I don't know, Dee Wallace, or Doug Bradley, or Nick Groff. And she goes, Johnny Hauser. And there's this weird pregnant pause, and Gates and I both look at each other and go, who the hell is Johnny Hauser? And she goes, Johnny Hauser runs the Villisca Axe Murder House. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And Gates and I are like, that Johnny Hauser. And then, lo and behold, this woman's trifecta comes in this day. Because if she's standing there, who walks in but this little Cuban hat-wearing, Fidel Castro-looking mother effer, and she turns away from Gates and I mid-picture and goes, oh my God, it's Johnny Hauser! And Gates and I were like, what? And she goes, it's Johnny. Can we please let him get in this picture? And we're like, yes, we can.
Damn
Get
right.
Johnny Hauser in this picture. And they bring Johnny over. And here's the best part to us. We bring Johnny over. We pause for the picture. And she's like talking and trembling. And then the 3 of us just turn to each other. And we kind of ice this woman out slowly. And just start talking. Not even meaning to. But it's just like Gates is like so... Like Paul McCartney just joined the band. He's like, so Johnny, tell me about Johnny Hauser. I need to know what effect you have on women like this. And it was such a great moment that that's always one of my favorite stories.
Oh, that's
where
amazing.
It comes to Johnny and of course Josh Gates. So that's my Johnny Hauser reveal.
That same instance, I think, was my favorite Dave Schrader story ever. Because he walks up to Josh Gates, and Josh has this necklace that nobody has. It's one of a kind and everything. And Dave is wearing the exact same. And the story I heard was you took a picture to your jeweler and had him make an exact copy.
Oh my God, dude.
Well, here, and Josh Gates Indiana Jones'd me on this, right? Because here was the story. We'd done all these live events, and I showed up one day in this black Dickie short sleeve shirt and my glasses, and in walks Gates, and we're both wearing matching black Dickie shirts with these black glasses. And then we go to another event, and we come out, we're both wearing the same, army green short sleeve Dickie shirt with the same glasses. And he goes, Schrader, you're starting to single white female me, and I'm getting real uncomfortable. So I go online, I find all the pictures of his compass necklace, and I send them to my buddy to make it. And then when I open up and I show it to him, and he goes, Jesus Christ, where did you get that? And he goes, wait a minute, turn it over. And I turn it over, and it's a hollow back. And he goes, I'm sorry, Dr. Jones, you'll never find the treasure. And he lifts up his, and there's stuff on the back. So it's like that scene where they burn the hand.
Yeah.
So only part of the map is there. I only had part of the thing proper. Yeah, that was an awesome few seconds.
Oh my gosh.
I love
Johnny, do you still wear that military hat, all Cuban Fidel Castro like, or what?
I broke it. Well, it was about 2 years ago. My buddy gave me a Cuban cigar I'm like, oh, I got to find that hat. And then I found an old green olive drab military jacket. And I'll have to tag you in the picture. It's on Facebook somewhere. But I put the hat on, the cigar, the coat, and it was uncanny.
Jeez.
Oh my God, there's Johnny Hauser!
And I still have no idea who this woman is. I've never seen her in my life. I'm like,
Nope.
Oh, cool. At least I got someone.
We'll look into it for you, Johnny. We'll get her number.
We'll
for
find
you.
her. We'll find her, buddy.
Oh man, I love the stories. God, it's so fun to relate with you guys. I mean, there's so many stories that we could talk about. Well, we'll just leave it there for now because once you start going down that rabbit hole.
Remember that time we got Chad drunk and left him naked in a cornfield?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
Where was that at?
It's a cornfield. We'll just leave it there.
We'll just leave
Well,
it.
that was in Iowa somewhere.
That was
You're so rachist. Just because it's a cornfield, you make it Iowa?
Well, that's where Johnny and Josh are. I mean, Chad's been trying to get out of the cornfield for like freaking century now. Children of the corn up in there. Every time.
One day.
Malachi's looking for you.
Yeah.
I love Malachi. Oh my gosh. Children of the Corn, that movie scared the shit out of me when I was a kid.
Dude, yeah.
Seriously. What was your scariest movie, really quick? Like, what was the genre of films that you grew up on? Was it horror movies? Was it comedy? Like, what did you love the most?
Well, my dad woke me up at midnight on Halloween because WFLD TV in Chicago was going to show Night of the Living Dead.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I watched Night of the Living Dead at the age of like 11 on TV with commercials, and it terrified me. Then my dad took me to see Halloween, right? And then he loved that movie. And then there was a movie coming out called The Day After Halloween. And he's like, we're going. Because obviously you think it's the sequel to Halloween.
Yeah.
It wasn't. It was still a bloodbath, but it was basically a lesbian murder mystery. And my dad just sat there going, totally baffled by what he was waiting for. Michael Myers, and we got this angry lesbian murder movie. I still don't.
Why are they gotta be angry?
I don't know. They were killing each other. That wasn't a sign of love, brother.
Oh, it's great.
I remember, it reminds me of a film I saw. I was so into horror films, and I saw this film, look it up, called Bloodsucking Freaks. Have you ever seen this film?
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
It reminds me of that film so bad.
Oh.
Oh my gosh. I thought I was the only one that's ever seen that film. Thank you, Dave. Thank you for bringing me back to reality.
You could go watch Night of the Lepus. That's my wife's favorite stupid horror movie. It's the night of these attacking, killing rabbits.
Yeah.
What?
Night of the Lepus.
I'm going to have to look into this.
Yeah.
I got to see it.
Treat yourself.
Oh my gosh. All right, so Night of the Living Dead, right on. So
Yeah, any of the zombie features, those were my favorites. I just absolutely loved them.
Yeah, I mean he's a legend, you know. Night of the Living Dead. Remember the vampire film Martin? Remember when?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. Martin and just all those films.
The Crazies and even Creepshow.
Oh yeah.
Creepshow, yeah.
Oh, I love Creepshow. Yeah, I mean, it's some of that genre. Just it's funny when you watch some of this stuff at your home, you know, and you're just sitting there and you're kind of losing track of reality, and you dive into these horror films or these movies in general. It takes you out of this world we're in. But then going to these locations like we've done throughout the years and actually investigating the unknown, and then having these experiences. You know, it just opens up your mind to the possibilities that movies are made on the type of experiences that we've lived through. So it's just so cool, man, to like see your journey and just like your whole entire career. Honestly, I super respect you, and I love seeing you land the Holzer Files, and it has such a creepy intro. Like the intro is so well done with the reel playing and Hans Holzer there and all the talking and the weirdness that's happening. I love the intro, and it's just so cool to watch unfold, and the stories and the mysteries and the layers, you know, and how complex it is. So cool. So airing on Travel Channel. Check it out, everybody. Holzer Files. Dave, it's freaking always fun to talk to you. Seriously.
I appreciate it. It's great catching up with you too. And anytime you guys are up for a conversation, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to jump back in with you.
Never a
That'd be
dull
great.
moment. Never a dull
See
moment.
if I can get Josh Gates on here, and then Johnny Hauser, Dave Schrader, and Josh Gates can all.
Oh my god.
The unholy trinity will be back together.
Reunited.
Let's do it. Dave, much love, buddy.
Oh, man.
Thank
All right.
you so much. Have a great night.
care.
Stay safe, bud. All right.
Hey, and Josh, next time, shut up. You talk way too much.
I know. I'm sorry, brother. I'm sorry. It's a problem.
Seeing y'all.
Thank you, Dave.
Josh has like the best radio voice too. Give him something. Give him a little love on that voice.
He's amazing. He was kind enough when Johnny Hauser was too big a celebrity to meet me in Wizard World. Josh, he's like, here, let me send my lackey, Josh Heard,
Yeah.
up there. And he
Yeah,
sent
like, you know
Josh,
what?
but Josh did a great job.
Oh, you're too kind
by
for
the end
saying
of it, we had a fantastic time. So
We did. It was great.
That happened to fall right on me and my wife's wedding anniversary,
It
and I
did.
should have done it because we're divorced now. So that would have been way more fun to come up there.
And the truth comes out. There it is.
it's all so true. All right, guys, have a good one.
Thank you much, sir.
See you
Stay
later.
safe. Bye-bye.
Man. Oh man,
Right.
it's always a great conversation. I love to reminisce. I love going back into the old stories. I haven't laughed that hard for a while.
Dude, that was great, man. Some of the stories he has to tell, man. Oh my gosh. Just amazing. Amazing stuff.
Good time, guys. Well, I don't know. I don't even know where the journey is going to take us next, but
Oh,
you
hell.
never know who you're going to befriend and run around in a haunted location in the dark, have some creepy stuff come through on a piece of equipment, and then a decade later talk about the weirdness behind it and why it was happening.
Yeah.
But that's why we love what we do. Keep searching the unknown, keep living, remember to laugh, and breathe. It's just beginning.